Hello everyone and good evening. My name is Emmanuel Ojide. I am an employee of Nene Labs as the Microsoft 365 administrator on behalf of Nene Labs, and I'll be doing a video documentation on behalf of Nene Labs. So I have my organization's tenants here, which I'll be working on. I to implement sensitivity labels in the compliance administrator panel, as well as implement security mail policies in Microsoft Defender on behalf of Nene Labs and digital consulting in my organization's tenant. Okay, so I have here my Microsoft 365. So I come here, I click on compliance and security, and then right here I have Microsoft Defender as well as Compliance Manager. So in Compliance Manager, I am to implement information protection and also implement content search as well as e-discovery in Compliance Manager. So um, let me click on this. Let me duplicate this. Duplicate. Okay, so e-discovery, content search as well as information protection. Information protection. Let me duplicate this again. Hope you guys can hear me. So we'll be doing two things, that is sensitivity labels, content search, and e-discovery. So we have e-discovery here, all clicked. So let's go to, we have our compliance manager here. Also, I've also been tasked by my manager to create assessments, regulatory assessments, as well as or improvement solutions, and creation of alert policies and alerts in compliance manager. My intrusion. Hope you can all hear me. Sorry, pardon me for my intrusion. So we have our different admin centers here, of which I'm going to carry out my tasks, and this is just a work log documentation. Just a work log documentation to show up my expertise and proof of my experience in Microsoft 365 as well as Azure cloud platforms, as well as the Microsoft 365 cloud platform. So I'll be performing these documentations now. So my tasks have been tasked by my manager in Nene Labs to perform video documentations in my organization's and tenant. And while I perform my tasks, I've been permitted as well to perform my tasks. So right here we have our Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we have our Compliance Admin Center, Microsoft Purview, and we have a Microsoft Defender. So my task, what I want to do now, what I'm asked to do now is I'm to implement email policies in Microsoft Defender, anti-malware policies as well as anti-spam policies in Microsoft Defender under email and collaboration, policies and rules, attack simulation training, and then I am also to implement data regulatory assessments in my organization's tenant. We have our data connectors, the compliance manager, which I'll click on. Click on the compliance manager, and we'll also be implementing solutions as well, which are our content search and e-discovery, as well as information protection in my organization's tenant, which is Nene Labs, a sub-company of Digital Consulting. Okay, so let us begin. I'll start by duplicating this. Let's duplicate this. Okay, so yeah, content compliance manager, data classification. Okay, let's come down to here. We'll start with information protection, and then click on labels. So I've been tasked by my organization to implement a sensitivity label and information protection, a sensitivity label for my organization. So my organization has been tasked with performing this. I will not turn this on because I've not been permitted by my manager to do so. But anyways, we have to create a sensitivity label for information protection for my organization or my company, which is Nene Labs. So what I first do for my information protection under sensitivity labels, as well as I'll create a label policy to enable these labels, this sensitivity label to work. Okay, I'll also enable auto labeling as well. So click on Word, create a label. Let's create a label. Let's create a label. So for this label, you see the data, you see Nene Labs data protection policy, then the display name Nene Labs protection policy. Okay, under labels, assign the highest priority. You can give it the highest priority. Now for description, this data, this is an information information sensitivity label for Nene Labs tenants. This is to protect and ensure compliance with our data assessments. Data regulatory assessments. Then description from is the first data slash information protection policy. We give it a color of blue. and then I click on next. Now for the scopes, okay, protect files created in Word, Excel, PowerPoint and more. The items now, the scope for this sensitivity label, we have your files, emails, meetings, so that's group or sites. So I will exclude meetings but just limit this to only emails and files. Okay, only emails and files. You know the purpose of compliance policy, information protection policies, to ensure and prevent data loss prevention within the tenant, to ensure that emails get to who they are meant for and information does not easily leave the tenants. That is the whole point of having a sensitivity label for my organization, that is Nene Labs. So in our tenants, files and then emails, then I can apply this for schematized data sets if I so wish. Protect calendar events and meetings scheduled in Teams. I've been tasked by my manager not to select these meetings. No need for meetings. So I then click on next. Items. Under items, the protection settings you can go reinforce when the label is applied in Microsoft 365, as you can see. So you have to control who can access and view labeled items, and also apply content marking to label items as well. Okay, so let's see next. Under say I can configure who will gain access control. Remove access control settings if applied to items. So I configure access control settings. So assign permissions now, or let users decide. Let's see, allow users decide. To allow users to decide, let users assign permissions when they apply the label. So users have control of who is able to access the files or emails that this sensitivity label applies to. Then for Outlook, do not forward. Email cannot be forwarded. Email cannot be forwarded to another email. In Word, PowerPoint, and prompt users to specify permissions. Yes. Use double encryption. Yes. Okay. So click on next. Now you can decide to also auto labeling of files and emails. You can decide to select this auto labeling of files and emails. Matching conditions, you choose or recommend that they apply it themselves. I will choose. Okay, so you can decide to enable auto labeling for files to only apply this label to files that are already saved in SharePoint and OneDrive. That's what auto labeling for files and emails is. To automatically include these emails, the files that are already saved in SharePoint or emails that are already processed by Exchange. You must create an auto labeling policy. It's a auto labeling for files and emails. When users edit Office files or compose, reply to or forward emails from Outlook that contain content matching conditions that you choose here, we will automatically apply this label or recommend that they apply it themselves. So let's see if we enable this. Now we now need to configure the auto labeling policy, for files and emails. So since so we can detect content that matches these conditions. You can also add a condition: content contains, let's say, finance for auto labeling policy. You can perform an auto labeling policy. Let's see, finances default one, finances, then the group in say group operator, any of these or all of these. Let's say any of these. You can also add sensitivity info types. Say sensitivity info types. So full names, anything international, Brasilia, Croatia. So anything with diseases, click on add. Finances, instance counts, you can say high confidence instance count of 1 or 2. Automatically apply this label, and you can also leave a message. The same message to users when the labeling is applied. So say this sensitivity label, say Nene Labs data protection applied. Data protection applied, and then click on next. So groups and sites, under groups and sites, define protection settings for groups and sites. Groups and sites, these settings apply to teams, groups and sites that have this label applied, stored in those containers. So this is grayed out. So schematized, I know we don't have Azure SQL yet, but we'll be soon to deploy Azure in Nene Labs. So for the time being we do not have. We click on next and then finish. Data protection policy, description for users, you review this, scope, file and email, access control, content marking. Let me see. Okay. Let's go back. Let's tweak this a bit. No double key encryption. auto labeling for files and emails. I can decide to enable let's see. Okay, actually let me disable I'll disable auto labeling for the time being and re-enable it later, since this is a work log for my organization. So click on next, 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 and then you click on create a label. Having reviewed everything, you can come back and enable auto labeling for my files and emails. Okay, and as you can see, our sensitivity label has been approved. Anyway. So sensitivity label was created. Creating a label. So this is the next steps. We won't publish this label. So our label is here. Our label is here and it is ready. So you can click on this and you decide to publish this label, but no, we are not going to publish the label. We can decide to there are different other labels here that have been created by our by Microsoft 365 by default. We can decide to tweak them or duplicate them. You can assign a priority, move up or down, move to the top, move to the high, move to the bottom. You can also decide to publish label or create a sub label, but when you click on the many last protection policy, you can publish this label. You can reprioritize, move to the top, press priority, move up or down, move up. You can move up and then you can move down, move to the bottom. Now it's at the bottom with the highest priority, but let's increase the priority, move up. So it's at the lowest. So all I need to do now is publish this label, but that will be later because I've been tasked with creating the sensitivity label, but not to publish it yet unless I am given permission to do so or I am asked to do so immediately. So that's that for information protection. Now we also need to create our label policy as well, sensitivity label policy. So you can use the global sensitivity label policy. No, we are dead on the road. You can edit this policy or you can create a new one. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, sorry for about that. So we are done with our information protection. Let's go back on it again. Information protection, under information protection tab, and click on our overview. Wait for it to load. Sorry, there was a mistake in what I did before, but I need to assign the permissions right now and assign it to some specific users or groups. So we're back in our edit sensitivity label. I came to edit the sensitivity label, so I click on add users or groups, and then I add some of our employees such as Ayo Popular and Frank Adams. I click on add, then I click on save, choose permissions. So I can also choose their permissions: co-editor, view content, reply, contract, copy and extract, reply, forward. So let me choose their permissions. Co-author, I say co-owner. Can give them permissions or just say they are a reviewer. They cannot print, save, they can edit and whatnot. So I click on save, then I click on save, and I click on next, no auto labeling, and then click on save label, and our label is being saved. Let's try that again. Okay, something is wrong. Let's troubleshoot this. Okay, users content to expire. Let's say 30 days from this. Let's say yes, 30 days after this label is applied. We click on add permissions. We click on next, click on next, click on next, click on next, and then we save label. So our label has now been updated and corrected. We click on done. So I've also been tasked to launch a content search solution for my organization. Excuse me.